Hey guys, Cody here. Gonna make a video. Happy New Year to everyone. It's been a while since I put one of these out. If you want information a little quicker than these videos, reach out to me on one of the social media mediums. Off the X_Inc. is my Instagram. That's the best one to get me on. Facebook, it has it go sometimes to a junk mail inbox on my Agents Unknown on Facebook. I would add, if you really want to get to me and ask a question for me to make a video about, or just for me to kind of respond a little in a more efficient manner, send it to my email, info@codyperron.com, and I'll write you back real quick and tell you I'll make a video at some point. But I usually get you the answer at that point. It's just not as an extensive answer when I write back to you. So the questions we're going to get in today: does size and look matter in protection details? How much emphasis is placed on the GPA during the application process? And I'm going to talk about bidding. I think I did this in another video. I'm going to get into kind of the lobbying aspect and the nuance of it. And then I'm going to talk about soft skills a little bit, interpersonal soft skills that I've mentioned before. So the size and look matter in protection details. I had a guy write to me, said he's not a very big guy. And then when he told me his size, and he was pretty much normal size. No, the answer is no. You're not like a bodyguard. Like, you don't need to be the big guy with the bald head and the muscles that's showing, intimidating people, while you walk into a place in Hollywood. Those guys are bodyguards. They have their purpose. I imagine they have their own skill set, and they're hopefully pretty good at it. But I don't know. I don't know who they're trained by. There's plenty of bodyguard training style agencies. Gavin DeBecker, I think, is a big one out in Hollywood. But no, DS agents, Secret Service agents, they're more strategic. You place people in the right places. You do your advanced work where you go in, you learn a venue, you learn everything about the venue. You talk to the key players and people at the venue. And you use those security soft skills that I talk about, threat recognition, situational awareness, and then, planning, obviously, of if something were to happen, what are you going to do? Where are you going to go? So all that comprises, and a lot more, comprises what we do on protection details. Of course, you have the diamond of the people walking with the protectee. You have your RON agents, which is like your hotel agents, who's responsible just for the hotel where the individual will sleep overnight. You have advanced agents that jump from venue to venue, that know those venues inside and out. And again, it's about using your eyes, your ears, your intuition, and the soft skills that DS teaches you, and that you hopefully, after they teach you, you continue to evolve in and using in your personal life, and which helps you become better in your professional life. So size doesn't matter. I would say that you should look professional. Generally, you wear a conservative suit, something that matches, or usually a suit, something that matches similar to what the protectees are wearing. And you don't have to know like their color tie and shirt, but you just kind of want to blend in. It's not really blending in when a bunch of suits are walking at you, kind of in an aggressive way. Not too aggressive, but kind of. But that's, and there are protection details also where you might dress down, like you go play golf and you'll wear like a button down shirt untucked or something like that. He or she, whoever the protectee is. But size doesn't matter. But you need to be neat. You should stay in shape and not appear to be the slob on the detail, because at that point you're just a weak link in the chain, and we don't want weak links in our chain. So good question though. I mean, those people are concerned about that, and that's fine. Ask any question you got. GPA. How much emphasis on the GPA during the interview process? I put a lot of emphasis on I wanted to keep my GPA up because I knew it had some impact, and I'm going to try. This is more of an HR question, but it does have some impact if you have a high GPA. I believe if you reach a certain point in your GPA, it'll give you another point in the scoring. I don't know the exact elements of the scoring, but I know if you have a higher GPA, it does help you. I don't think if you have a low, there may be a GPA you have to get to apply. Maybe it's 2.0. I don't know, but I'm confident that if you have a lower GPA, like a 2.1, that it's not going to count against you. It just won't give you that extra push. So I wouldn't. I would say, verify that, ask the question to HR, but to give you some kind of sense of calm or about it. Yeah, I just tried to keep your GPA up if you're in college. I think that's a good idea because, you know, it's super competitive. So, you know, there's people with a ton of experience and not only experience but super smart, did well in college, and they just you know, excel in their personal lives, and these are the people you're competing with. And I guess, you know, there are people that get in that are mediocre people, and some people that aren't the best, and they get by, and that's just part of it. But you want to be, you know, top of your game, and so if you can keep your GPA up, good. If you didn't, I don't see it's going to be that much, but you just got to perform on the actual on the online exam, and then in the oral. You know, I keep telling people, they say about my experience, they ask about experience, do I have enough? What about this? If you have some work experience and you have a college degree, a bachelor's degree, you have enough experience. DS is going to teach you everything you need to know. Is it better to have more experience? Sure, because anytime you have more experience, you can bring, you know, life experience into the job. That's a good thing. Whether you were an accountant or a bookkeeper or a librarian or a special ops soldier, or you name it, law enforcement officer, you name it, there's going to be a point in time in your DS career, and particularly DS, because we have this element of being a diplomat overseas, and working with fellow diplomats in the security management portion, where your skill set, no matter what job you had before, at some point you're going to use your skill set. I guarantee it. Come back to me when you say I was a cook, and you know, and I became a DS agent, and 12 years down the road, you'll say I used the skills that I knew of being a cook. I'm telling you right now, you're going to use whatever skill set you had. So, you know, if you're considering applying and you don't have the law enforcement, the military, or whatever skills you think are needed in DS, and you have a bachelor's degree, apply. You'll be fine. You got to perform on the online exam and in the oral assessment. And if you do, you'll be fine. So, cool. All right. Bidding, how it works. So again, I think I did a video on this. This is like what, video 23, 24. But let's kind of talk about the nuance to bidding. First off, the question, there was some question about if you volunteer or if you're voluntold. It's not the military. You're not voluntold. You're not made to do anything. All these posts are, I forget the terminology we use, but it's at your own will or something like that. Assignments, not being in DS. Once you're in the government, you're in the government. And once you get tenure, you're really in the government. Yeah, so, but like even if you volunteer to go to Iraq, right, and you get there and you're like, this is not for me, I got to get out, you'll be allowed to leave. So with that said, you're not required to bid on these, they're formerly called AIP, Afghanistan, Iraq, Pakistan, then it was called high threat assignments, and now it's called something else. But you're not required to go to them. And there's value in going to them. I've mentioned this before. This is personal value, you know, for personal and professional value as a young agent going. There's certainly value as you become more senior in your career to go into these high threat assignments. But a reason I bring up the high threat with regard to bidding is he was asking about, am I going to be voluntold to go to one of these assignments? And the answer is no. The bidding is one of the worst parts in DS, and maybe I should do a video on the worst parts. But I'm a champion for DS because I think overall it's a fantastic organization. So I don't like to always show the bad side, but you know, it's important that you know what you're getting into. So if people are interested in that, you know, just ping me. Yeah, you know, so bidding is one of those though that I think is stressful, particularly if you have a family. It wasn't as stressful for me. I wanted what I wanted, but I was a single guy with no family and no concerns. But you know, there's a lot of concerns you have when you have a spouse or kids that you have to kind of concern yourself with. So my first advice would be, if you do have a family, and this is to this gentleman that asked the question, is to you know, discuss with your spouse what places you're willing to accept. Now, I will say your first assignments are pretty easy. Like, you go to school, you say, I want LA, Chicago, Houston, whatever. You see what's available, you bid, and it's just between your class. Now, once you get into the greater organization, you're bidding against all other DS agents at your grade, pretty much at your grade level, and it becomes more competitive. And so let's use, you know, but I'm going to really talk about domestic assignments, because going to DC is not that big of an issue, right? You live in DC, it's just still America. You have all the you know, everything you need. You have internet, you have Wi-Fi in locations, you have 5G now, you have all you know, everything you need to survive. But when you consider going to one of these overseas locations, there's a lot more to consider. So first thing I would do is say, sit down with your spouse, look at the bid list. They'll give you what's available. Not every country is available. They'll give you what's available during your time to bid, and look and research. It's called post reports. You'll have access to these post reports, and I believe they're on the State Department intranet. You can print them out, bring them home, and talk to your family about which places you're willing to accept. And you need to have a lot that you're willing to accept, and you prioritize those on. All right, here's the ones I want to go to. And then you start to bid on them, and you might bid on 10 posts, and I don't think there might be a minimum number you have to put, but there's no max or something. You got to put like 3. I don't know. That's an example, and so say you put 10, and I think I actually put around 10 one time, and I lost all of them. So then I put the 11th and a couple more, but the 11th was my new top choice, and that was Ho Chi Minh City, and I got it. But there are people to go probably to 25, 30 posts, don't get it. So you need to be willing to put down a number of posts, and you number them, and those are your priorities. I will say, if you put a hard to fill assignment, and you say I'll go to Juba, and you put that like number 5, they're gonna go right to you and grab you for Juba. So it's a lot of strategy. I'm probably not the person to talk to about that strategy anymore. At one point, I was decent at it, but I was still garnering mentorship from other agents in that strategy. And the Facebook group that I have going, Becoming a DSS Agent, is a great place to ask about that strategy for you new agents. If you don't have some, you will have someone you can rely on, if you build those relationships. But if you want to kind of be more anonymous, and go one-on-one, or ask the group and Becoming a DSS Agent, the strategy to bidding, there's some people in there that know it well. So you bid. Hopefully, say you get assignment number 12. Well, then that's it. Part of it, I will say, is lobbying. You'll put those top 5, and you say, I want these top 5. I'm good with the others, but I want these top 5, so I'm going to lobby. So I'm going to write a letter or a note to the current regional security officer at in Cambodia, for example. And then I'm going to write a note to the deputy chief of mission, because that would be the regional security officer's boss, and introduce yourself. As a younger agent, you won't really be writing to those folks. You'll be writing to the regional security officer, but maybe not to the DCM, just because you're going to be an assistant regional security officer. But there may be some people, and it's better to take advice for you current agents that are wondering. It's better to take advice from someone actively in DS. And maybe reach out to the regional security officer and say, hey, I want to come out to Cambodia to be your ARSO. Here's my background. Can we chat? And the regional security officer may say, yeah, let's chat. And then you hit it off with him, and they say, well, he or she will say, hey, why don't you write a letter to the deputy chief of mission, which is right below the ambassador. And then you do that. So, again, it's all about using those interpersonal skills and just critical thinking. I mean, it's not really difficult critical thinking, but you kind of want to go through the process. You don't want to write, hey, I'm, Joe, and I'm going to Kazakhstan, and I write directly to the ambassador. The ambassador doesn't have time for that. And the DCM is like usurping your chain of command, because the regional security officer is your chain of command. So you got to find out, you got to learn the nuance, to DS, and who you need to communicate with, and you can ask a bunch of people. Now, that type of nuance, I'll tell you, like, hey, here's a good strategy if you don't want to ask someone in DS. But overall strategy about contacting people, it changes, and I haven't been in the loop for a few years. I do have people in the loop. Got interrupted on a phone call there. So, yeah. So anyway, hit up that Facebook group, and there are people in there that can help you out on bidding strategy. So, last thing I want to talk about is soft skills. If you've listened to any of the podcasts and Facebook and even these videos, you'll hear me talk about soft skills, and I'm going to continue to harp on it, because that's what's going to get you hired if you want to be a DS agent. Again, experience is great. You might be a badass in some type of way, whether you're a special ops, a SWAT team guy, or a badass attorney. That's all great. But DS is looking for people with maybe that, but also the soft skills. And if you have both, awesome, you'll be really good at the job. And so the type of soft skills I'm talking about, those interpersonal skills, those effective communication skills, the ability to build relationships and build coalitions and have people get on board with your programs is vital in any organization, any aspect of life. And I don't mean manipulating people. I mean building genuine, authentic relationships, being a genuine, authentic person, and being able to communicate and have empathy and compassion and understand that security is not the end all be all, and you have to build a security program that you can mold to the government, U.S. government's priorities in a country, or even if you're in a business setting, that you can mold security, a security program around, the business. So that's the type of soft skills I'm talking about. And I'm reading a book for the third time in my life. I happened to just see it on my wife's in a book, in a stack of books when we were moving around, and I said, this is a good idea to read this book again, just because it's really easy to read. It has a lot of great information and examples. I think I was fortunate with my family and how my parents helped me develop some interpersonal skills, and I expanded on those as I grew as a human. But this book, I recall reading and saying, wow, this really has some good information in it to help you, to help individuals grow. So many of you may have heard of this, but it's how to win friends and influence people. And so I would, don't worry about win friends. I know we got some hardcore people here that say I run with a small group. That's fine. I would say more like how to, how to build coalitions, and how to I guess just what I said earlier, get people on board, and with your programs, and just how to be a good person and navigate life with different types of personalities and people that you meet. And I think it's a fantastic book. It's like any book, there's some things you may agree or disagree with. It may not fit the way you are, your persona, and that's understandable, but there are some good stories in there, some good examples. And so, I'd encourage anyone to read it. I don't know this guy. I think this book's like 80 years old. I don't know. It's freaking 80 years in print. So, I don't know the guy, but a really, really good book. And for those of you, I mentioned, my book collection at one point, and the books I read about the actual job, or about in the State Department, working and living in the State Department as a special agent. But I've never really pushed books or talked about books on, that can help you with those interpersonal skills. So I think this is a good one. You may disagree, and that's fine. Disagree is okay. So, all right, that's it. I have a podcast. I'm supposed to record a podcast tonight, and we are Saturday, the 9th of January. The guy's overseas, so I need to make sure when he wakes up, he's still on board and recording. So I'm looking to do that. Off the X_Inc. is my Instagram. That's where I'm most active. I have been inactive the last few months. There's a reason for that. I had some medical issues and was hospitalized for a bit, but all good now. It's lower back issues. So so the podcast might come out. Off the X_Inc. Agents Unknown is my Facebook. And then I'm not really on Twitter. And I have my website's codyperron.com, where you can buy the book directly from me if you want to get it personalized. I've had several people want it personalized with a signature, and I'm happy to do that. Or if you want to just support me individually without going through Amazon, it's much appreciated. I'm happy to send that on out to you. What else is on the website? I have apparel. I have a blog, but I haven't been very active on it, but also have apparel and patches and things like that. So, here's the front of the Off the X Inc. shirt. I have a couple shirts that you may have seen. However, this is the newest one. This is a dude getting another, a skeleton getting another skeleton off the X. Kind of in a funny way. He's got a rifle there, so I think that's a pretty cool shirt. Also got the Knuckle Draggers shirt, which is I'm gonna do a little explanation here. So Knuckle Draggers Unlimited, where it is? It says do work and chill. So if you see here, this is Saddam's chair. So any of you that served out in Iraq, it's a very nuanced artist did this and drew Saddam's chair, and sitting in Saddam's chair is a big thing. So do work and chill. Of course, you have the look of the skeleton, the backwards hat, the freaking contractor casual. It's like a plaid shirt, chucks, and then the rifle and some beer, and I think these are Rippets, by the way. So those of you that are there know that the boys and girls like their Rippets, and so it's a lot of kind of small things in this shirt, and it's selling pretty good. I got a good bit left, and the shirt in the front is the same, off the X ink. This shirt and the high threat protection shirt are super soft, with the print on the high threat protection here. There were some people that said it wiped off. This is because I'm assuming this is because it's such a soft shirt. If any of your shirts come back, where you wash them once or something and it wipes off, let me know about it, and I'll send you another one, or I'll give you your money back. It's not that big a deal. But if you use it 5-6 times, it's a little fading. It's not something I can accommodate. But so also the high threat protection design, if you haven't seen it, is both on it's the most popular design. It's both on a shirt and a hoodie. So high threat protection, getting you off the X. It's all on my website. Again, off the X in the front, and we've got a hoodie. We're running low on these, and we're very much running low on the t-shirt version of those. So if you're interested, go and get it now. If it doesn't have your size, hit me up, because I want to know that there's enough people that are interested for it, and I'll print out some more. There's not many larges and extra large. There might not be any extra large or large. That one sold out twice that I've been doing it. So since I've been doing it, we got your high off the X ink patch. Thanks for all of you supporting it. We got some stickers here, off the X podcast, and I sell these just in the sticker pack, or the sticker patch bundle. So you can go get those anyway. They look good, for example, on your drinkware. So yeah, that's about it. I appreciate the time and everyone, the support and buying the products. I don't get paid for doing any of this. I'm cool with that. I like it that way. The way you can support is if you're interested in buying some of the items or the book. That helps. I put a lot of this back into making more. At some point, I want to give to a foundation or some type of charity, to give a portion of that to a charity. And right now, I'm thinking the DS Foundation, Diplomatic Security Foundation. But you got to get more revenue coming in to do that. So, by doing that, you guys support a small family, small business, and getting soon getting out to maybe the DS Foundation. So anyway, thanks all for listening, and hit me up if you got questions. info@codyperron.com, and I appreciate your time. Thanks, y'all.